Everyone, welcome back. The new Descent game mode offers 12 new audio logs, one for each week that you beat Nemesis, and with 6 available right now, there is already a ton of very interesting lore coming out of these audio logs. Lore that gives an insight into what has happened and what we might expect for the coming year. What is Diamond and how important is this, and why should we care? And what is Black Diamond? Well, let's take a look. Before we begin, if you do enjoy this one, drop a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff down below. It's not very often, it's pretty rare that I do lore videos, but I'm really interested in the lore of The Division 2. It's getting really juicy, and Massive have made a real concerted effort to make sure the lore is really strong in year 5 going into next year as well. So it makes sense for me to jump on and see what is going on. And yeah, there's some pretty explosive stuff already from the 6 audio logs that are available. So to start with, the Descent mode, this takes place in an NSA bunker, a kind of a training facility, a simulation where agents are able to test their tech. Now, what the lore audio logs have revealed is really quite interesting. So let's talk about Diamond, because this is the main theme for this video. Until now, we've only known about 2 AI systems, Isaac and Anna. Or you might know Anna as the Rogue Network. In fact, myself, I've always called it the Rogue Network. It's actually called Anna. Now, lore from previous seasons confirmed, these were developed by DARPA, but the recent comms from Descent reveals that Ortiz Technologies, they were the founders of these AI, basically, and in conjunction with DARPA, they created these AI. Now, in the second audio log from Descent titled Updates, this is where it gets really interesting, and I really want to talk about this. So let's have a listen.
Cal wants us to update all 3 systems on his watch.
Why?
Someone said the color cycling made him look like a disco ball.
Was it Vic or Natalia?
Does it matter?
Yes, because if this is about function or ego, I have different solutions.
Function. He doesn't need help with his ego.
We can have all 3 accessible through a single interface, but it could create security issues. A backdoor into the systems that would make it much easier to hack as long as you have legitimate access to one of the systems. You could get into the other 2.
Is that a bug or a feature?
Depends on how clandestine and classified you want your organization to actually be in practice.
The watches are inert until Isaac is activated, right?
More or less. Until you're activated and we maintain activation, it's just a watch.
A very smart watch.
Yeah, but without activation and the brick, it's just a watch that someday may alert you to get off your ass and get to work.
So until activation, there really isn't a threat.
Not to security, but they are passive. They are recording everything, all the time, and filling the databases. If he wants his analysts to be able to access all that intel and data, then feeding all 3 into the same repository could be beneficial. But it's definitely not secure.
And what about the other databases?
Like Diamond?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's all built on the same tech. If he wanted a backdoor into their operations to monitor them, it's just a matter of giving him access to their database.
How hard would that be to hook up?
It's 1 server and 1 update, 5 minutes. But it would put our other contracts in danger if they ever found out.
How would they find out?
The same way Cal would find out. They would all have access to the same backdoor. If they are all from the same root, it's just a matter of finding the right file. It's all there, but if someone gets bored or goes looking, they can find anything they want. If they've got the skills and patience to weed through the garbage first.
So as you heard, Calvin McManus reaches out to Mr. Ortiz to see if there was a way to switch between the systems without the different colours, because Vikram Malik called him a disco ball. Now, Mrs. Ortiz goes on to say they could make all 3 systems accessible via one interface. This would come with some security concerns because, if anyone was to hack Calvin's watch, they'd have access to all of the data on all 3 systems. Mr. Ortiz then asks about the other systems, and Mrs. Ortiz says, "You mean Diamond?" Now, this is the first time we've heard of a 3rd AI and heard the name Diamond. This in of itself is very interesting, very explosive, because it confirms another AI. just like Isaac and Anna, or at least we think it's just like Isaac and Anna. It's built on the same systems, basically. Although we don't know if it's more powerful than Isaac. We don't know the properties of it whatsoever. But what makes this extra special is this. You see that? So we've been fighting Black Tusk, and right there, staring us in the face, is the Diamond AI tech, mounted on the shoulders of our enemies. They would call this the brick, because as our characters are, we have the brick, which is the thing on top of our shoulder, which shows the shade network, and then we also have the watch. So we have the brick and the watch, and they just have the brick themselves. Now, Natalia Sokolova must have obtained the AI from Ortiz, because a lot of the audio logs talk about ordering or putting in orders, and so she must have obtained the AI from Ortiz and then outfitted the Black Tusk, or at least given it to them to outfit themselves. We don't yet know the properties of this new AI, as I said, and of course, there are many questions, many intrigues I have, but what I wanted to focus on here is Season 4 of Year 5. So just let me pull this up here from the roadmap. As you can see, the last season of this year is called Black Diamond. Now, when this roadmap was first announced, this obviously meant nothing to any of us. But now I think we can try and speculate as to what this might be about. And if you do have any ideas, then please leave them in the comments down below. I'm expecting a lot of wild theories as to what Black Diamond could all be about. Let's not forget, this is going to be the new story DLC, and we are going to Brooklyn, so bear that in mind in terms of your theories. Now, when I first read Black Diamond, when I just read it out loud, my immediate thoughts are to do with a blackout. We know the Black Tusk rely on this AI for their combat. It's basically combat AI, and without it, they are going to be in serious trouble. It would basically be like us losing Isaac. So it's quite possible, after learning about the whereabouts of the Diamond server, we man an operation to go and take it out, or we find someone with a skill set to take it down. It's unlikely that we'd be able to go directly to the server, and I say that because in the audio logs from Descent, Mr. Ortiz confirms they have servers in Alaska and North Dakota. Having done a bit of research, I think the main server for Isaac is in North Dakota, which leaves Alaska. Now, in fact, Natalia, in the logs, talks about this particular location, making sure it was kind of like a secure area. So that steers me even more in that direction. I think it's safe to assume that we're not actually going to be going to Alaska in Season 4. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. We know that we're going to Brooklyn, so yeah, we're definitely not going to Alaska. But it's possible that we're going to Brooklyn because there may be someone there that's able to help us hack into the Diamond Network and take it down, cause that blackout. And that may be able to give us an opportunity to infiltrate the Black Tusk and do something, basically. It's possible that somewhere in Brooklyn, there is a node for the network which would allow a skilled hacker access to that network. I could be way off because I really have no idea. You guys can probably tell I have no idea. But there's no way that Season 4 doesn't have something to do with the Diamond AI. It's not a coincidence that we're learning about the Diamond AI now, and Season 4 is called Black Diamond. But that's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching today's video. As I said, if you do have any of your own kind of theories, leave them down in the comments below. You may have noticed the season before Black Diamond is called Vanguard. And whose nickname was Vanguard? Yes, we could be seeing the return of that person. Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Until the next one, Epic out.